Former Libyan leader Muammar Gadhafi today released a defiant audio recording declaring that his hometown was now the country's capital. And if it sometimes seems that Gadhafi and his family are living in a parallel universe, the life story of his only natural daughter will not diminish that impression. Here's ABC's Nick Watt.
She's the crazy colonel's only daughter, Aisha Gadhafi, once known, and I'm not kidding, as the Claudia Schiffer of North Africa. Remember his phalanx of female bodyguards? Well, Gadhafi insisted they all be named Aisha in honour of his beautiful daughter. That's odd and made us think that she might give a glimpse into the weird world of the Gaddafis. The colonel had 7 fairly unsavoury sons, including one called Hannibal, who was arrested for beating up a girlfriend in Paris, another who's a washed-up pro-soccer player, and a couple who were in the army, and his heir apparent, the hard-partying Saif, who just told a reporter on the phone, victory is near. But there in the wreckage of Daddy's palace, after the rebels smashed his compound, there's Aisha's face in bronze. In her own abandoned home, rebels threw open the doors for all to see. They gawped at the gaudy opulence, a TV in the bathroom, and a jacuzzi. Our own Jeffrey Kaufman was there.
When you see how Aisha lived and you see this, what do you think?
How could she live like this? The rebels cooled off in her pool. Aisha had a gold-plated couch, a mermaid with Aisha's face. And her smoking personal photo album, Claudia Schiffer? I don't know. Here's a rebel gurning on the mermaid couch, and there's Aisha in happier times in her wedding gown on the mermaid couch.
She's very good looking, very blonde.
Colin Freeman is one of the very few who's ever interviewed her.
She's clad in all the latest designer gear, very, very well turned out, immaculately coiffured.
But there's more to Aisha than that. Educated in France, she's a lieutenant colonel. In the army, she was a UN Goodwill ambassador. And she heads a charity that defended the guy who threw that shoe at George Bush. A trained lawyer, she was on Saddam Hussein's defence team.
I pointed out that I'd been to Iraq and seen the mass graves that Saddam left in his wake, and she sort of paused for a second and just said, well, there will always be people who disagree with what you want to do when you're in government. And I thought, well, if that's the attitude of the Gadhafi family, then it must be a pretty scary place to live.
When NATO started bombing in the spring, Aisha ditched the bottle blonde look, switched to Eva Peron mode, defiant on the balcony at Casa Gadhafi. She told NATO pilots, when you leave, take your tails with you. The tales of shame and filth. But Aisha just fled by limo to Algeria, where apparently she gave birth. And apparently she just called an Arab news agency to say her dad's as strong as ever. And she said, I'll be back. I'm Nick Watt for Nightline in London.